Hello and welcome to Her Empire Builder Show. I am your host, Tina Tower, and it is great to have you here with me today, where we are talking about the quiet power moves that build big business. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because there is a myth that online business success comes from being the loudest, comes from going viral, from shouting, from having the most followers, from all of these big things. But in my experience, the real empire builders, they're making the quiet strategic moves behind the scenes. They're doing it with consistency, they're doing it with intentionality, and always playing the long game, always having that in mind. And so in this episode, what I want to share with you is the subtle but powerful habits, all of the decisions and the strategies that don't necessarily get the flashy airtime on Instagram. But they are the actual things that grow big, sustainable, and fulfilling businesses. So by the end of this episode, you're going to know how to start making these quiet power moves in your own business, and also to grow without burning out. And this is especially one of the things that I like about quiet power moves is you don't have to be extroverted to be successful. And I know that a lot of people think that you need a certain level of extroversion to be successful. You do need visibility. And I do know, as myself being an introvert, I struggle with the visibility sometimes. There is often times where I'm like, you know what, I just don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to say any more words. Recently, last year we released Pocket Tina, which is our Delphi AI for our members, and it gets trained on all of the words that you have said. And so what we put into it was we put in over 300 podcast episodes, over 400 masterclass videos, because I've done a weekly masterclass every year for 7 years. We put in all of my course videos, all of my newsletters I've written, all of my answers that I've ever given in the Facebook group, all of those things. It was trained on 3.8 million words. I'm like, no wonder sometimes I feel like not talking. That's a lot of words that have come out of me. And most of those were done before AI. They were all my words. But what my point is you can be introverted and still successful. And so I want to be able to go through that. So what are quiet power moves? Power moves, to me, quiet ones especially, are the strategic actions that aren't externally validated. They're what you do when no one's watching. They're the things that make the biggest difference that people don't necessarily talk about. And you won't necessarily get a dopamine hit when you do it. You most certainly won't get a round of applause when you achieve it. But what they do is they move you forward. They're the things that matter. Things like setting boundaries so that you can get more done. Things like having time for deep work. Things like follow-ups. The power of sales, my friend, is in the follow-ups. Refining all your systems, just little examples of things that don't get you the applause. They're the things that you have to do when no one's watching to get that success. Power moves are not always big and loud. Often they're the unsexy things. They're the things that you need to do consistently. They're the actions that you take that compound over time, that build a really sustainable, really profitable business. So I want to take you through some of the ones that have made the biggest difference in my business. So one of those is having white space. Like I said, I am a bit introverted. So when I was younger, in my 20s, I could force myself to do a lot of things that now I can no longer do in my 40s. Just energetically, I don't know if energetically it's that I don't have the energy for it, or that I just no longer accept doing things that I don't want to do. I think it's probably a combination of both. I'm sure many women that are my age and older can also relate to that attitude shift that comes into play. But I used to be able to, you know, I'd be on calls every day, I'd be speaking all the time, I'd be on people's podcasts, like on all the things like a little Energizer bunny. Now I am much more protective of my time and giving myself that white space so that, you know, the time that I do spend is really, really intentional. And so one of the biggest quiet power moves I do is having no appointments on Thursdays and Fridays. So sometimes I will take that time off, but often I will work those times, but I get to work on what I want to do. And this is the thing is I was talking to one of my private coaching clients the other day, and because she's so heavily scheduled, every day she is working on what she has to do. Every single day. It's like, go, 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 like fast, 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 like ready, go. And she's like fighting the clock to do things that have to be done, because if they're not done, like she's literally got that many clients, that much face-to-face work, that many things, which is a great problem to have, but not when you're in a growth period, because if she wants to grow her business, she's got no time to actually follow up big accounts, to think creatively, to do the growth strategies that she needs to do, because she's just got to survive. She's just got to implement what she's doing now. She's just got to work on that deliverability. And so having that white space is one of the best things that you can do if you're wanting to grow, or even if you're just wanting to sustain the business without burning out. And so having like really controlling your week, and sometimes you do need to take a dip to do that. Like if she was to take one day off delivering right now, she would need to, so she's a consultant, right? Just to give you an example. So if she was taking a day off delivering, she would need to take that pay cut because she's not getting that delivery fee on that Friday, for example. But then one of her goals is to get other facilitators to also teach her programs inside big corporates. And so if she was to do that, she can spend that Friday then like acquiring and training and getting sales for these other 20 facilitators that all want to do her program, which will then create far more revenue in the long run. And so sometimes like the best power moves you can do is to take that short-term sacrifice for that long-term growth and that long-term viability. So productivity is what we want, but without burnout. Like I am all for pushing, but also like you can work hard, but you want to work hard smartly. Like you want to be able to go like, to what end are we doing this? So I do that, the weekly white space. I also give myself one day a week of deep work, of working on big projects. So things like strategy, new like launches, event planning, systems, like those growth tasks. So having that time that's not always scheduled, because if you're always scheduled, you're doing the things that have to be done, but you're not getting any time to do those growth things. You're not getting any time to enhance. And this is where like you're just perpetually tired. If I use the example of another private client that I'm working with, won't say any names here, but I'm sure if they're listening, they're like, oh my gosh, it me. Another client that I was working with, and she is growing her business. She's got 2 primary age children, and she also is really prevalent in her husband's business, running the back end of his business as well. This woman is busy with a capital B. And she came to me because she's going, like, I'm doing all of the things, but I'm just not getting the revenue growth that I'm looking for or that I expect from this level of output. And that is because she's been sprinting so fast that she's missing all of these opportunities. That sometimes what you need to do is slow down to speed up, is to go, hang on, like as an example, most of her revenue was coming from her mastermind, but she was putting a lot of effort into selling this course that just wasn't getting great results. And so instead of putting all this energy into this course, because she's like, I built this course is amazing, and it was amazing, it just not the right program for the right audience. And so it's going, well, let's just kill that off. She's like, I can't kill it off. I put so much effort into this and it's so good. But yes, it is, but it's not the best use of that return on investment, both with energy and money and time. And so let's put all the energy into the thing that is giving us the massive results, that has massive scalability. And this is the thing that you get to do when you're working on deep work, is you get to review, all right, how am I going? Like, where is the business coming from? Where is my money coming from? Let's check those bank accounts. Let's check the profitability. Let's check the cash flow. Like, let's go deep on things so that we can stop doing the things that aren't working and dial up the things that are. And often I find people don't give them themselves that time to really stop and reflect and go, all right, I'm going to change direction here. And this is what I mean by the things that you do when no one's watching, is because it's not like you can get on Instagram and go, I just reviewed my data. And people are going to go, oh my God, that's so exciting. And so you want to do these things that are going to be the real needle movers, like looking at your funnels and looking at how many people are landing on your sales page, and do you need to change the color of your buttons? Do you need to change the wording? Like, are you using Hotjar to measure the effectiveness on there so that you're working out what's working and what's not, so that you can pick that conversion up by 2%, right? Really, really boring, but it's going to give you great results. If you can optimize your funnels, like change your emails if they're not working, like all those different points of your funnels, that is money for jam. Like, that's something you've already put all of the effort into making this program. Why not optimize it to get the best results? But what I find is people are often running to the loud and shiny stuff and forgetting to optimize the things that you already have. So looking at your funnels, definitely looking at your finances, and looking at your forecasting so that you know both time and money-wise what you are looking ahead to, so that you can adapt before things get bad. Always looking ahead. Another is customer experience enhancements. So one of the biggest things that we have done is bringing in AI to help our customers. But they're the things that you want to be doing on these Deep Wednesdays, is looking at, okay, if you're doing a Deep Work Wednesday or Wealthy Wednesday, I call it, that you are spending the time there and going, how can we enhance this? How can we do better? Making sure you're sending, especially if you have a membership, that you're sending feedback forms and you're analyzing those and reading each one of them and looking for the patterns. And AI will help you with this now, so that you can figure out, all right, where are people getting the best results? So how can I get more of that? And where are things not working? So how can I adapt and change it so that we're continually optimizing and giving the best product that we possibly can? So all of those, like, I think having the different systems in place, they, for me, have definitely helped retention and helped people to get the results. And that's what you need when you've got a membership going. So all of those quiet investments that are deeply serving my clients, like there's things that we pay a lot for. Like last year, we had teamwork spaces. So we had Heba, which is her Empire Builder Assistant is what we called it. And we had all of our systems all built on this. Now, teamwork spaces was costing me $1,000 a month to be able to have. And so a lot of people look at that and they're like, gosh, that's a big investment, but it's something that I knew would enhance the customer experience. Now that has been replaced with Delphi, which is the Pocket Tina. So it's even better than what we had before. And so constantly being able to refine and go, how can I do that better? Those investments are going to make a difference massively down the track. Then looking at evergreen systems. So like I said, with looking at your funnels, like we relaunched Idea to Launch last year. So it constantly runs in the background now. It is our course when people are wanting to get started, like take that first step. So they're not quite ready for her Empire Builder yet, but they can come in at Idea to Launch to get that all ready to go. And looking at constantly our email sequences in there. How can we get that percentage up? Or if the percentage drops of the conversion, how can we refine that? How can I repurpose content to remind people that it's available? How can we have it not passive, but as passive as possible, like the lowest energy possible to get the maximum amount of rewards? Because what we want to do is we want to have some revenue coming in that doesn't rely on launching. I love live launching. I will always do live launching while it's most effective, but we also want to be having the engine going that is not relying on launches. The other is going for simplicity. So looking at your business, because what happens over time is the bloat. You know, we all start off with these simple businesses and we bolt on and we bolt on and we bolt on, because when we get a new idea, which we all as entrepreneurs get new ideas all the time. We're like, that sounds great. Let's add that in. Let's add that in. Let's add that in. And before you know it, your business is a mess. And this can often happen from both a front end and a back end. So it's really good to be able to kind of like streamline everything and strip it all out and go back to simplicity, which is what I've done a lot lately, is going in, killing off our low cost offers that were taking energy but not taking the most amount of revenue. We just don't need to have them in our ascension model. We looked at our brand messaging and how can we get that more refined? How can we get it more unified? How can we have that going consistently across everything? Because some things on our website are really old and they needed updating because they've been there for like 5 years untouched. And I know we all have a graveyard of landing pages that maybe shouldn't be there or need to have a bit of a refresh. So these are the things that I think often go on a to-do list that we never have time for. And they're the things that can often lead to sales. They're like the lowest hanging fruit that you can use to be able to improve and get more revenue in your business. So doing all of that, like having that full audit of the brand messaging, of our offers, like that's not the sexy stuff. You know, it's not fun, it's not exciting, but it does make everything run smoother. And some of the, a lot of the most successful moves that I make inside my business, they never show up on social media posts because it's like, yeah, so you just revised your website, like big deal. But this is the thing that a lot of people never get around to that make a really big difference in really analyzing, your homepage, for example, is your front door to the world. How long since you've gone through and figured out who's clicking where? How often are those clicks coming? How long are people spending on my page? And when they're on the page, where are they going to next? Are they bouncing off of at a particular place? Like really analyzing that to make sure that what you've got is optimized, that what you've got is working the best you can. Because if you can get 5% extra of those people coming to your website to sign up to your free lead magnet, that's going to make a big difference, right? So spending the time on doing those things that are going to make those big differences. So next I want to talk about quiet leadership in a very, very, very loud world. Scaling also doesn't mean hiring more. So one of the things that I am doing is keeping my team really, really tight and choosing that depth over noise. So keeping our team like really simple, keeping our customer base really simple and trying to keep it like contained instead of going really, really wide. I want to go deep. I don't want to go wide. I don't want to chase every trend. When every trend comes up on social media, I don't feel like I need to be there and be doing that. If there's something that I see that I think is super fun, then yes. But the good businesses, they don't necessarily jump on every trend. You're consistently good all the time. And what you want to do is you want to focus on consistency, not necessarily virality. And one of those things, like when I'm talking about the quiet leadership instead of the loud, I'm reluctant to say this because I don't want to call anyone out or poo-poo people. But for a while, like back in 2020, 2021, 2022, there was a lot of popularity in, what do they call it? There's a word for it, like revenue signaling or something like that it's called, where people are saying, I made $200,000 in a day, and I just made this much money in my launch and doing that. And then it went out of vogue, which was great because there is so much that you don't see behind that. So if you're focusing on vanity metrics and say, for example, the one that I saw that said, I just made $200,000 in a day. And then she was selling her system for how you can do that as well. Now, that is not an easy system. What I know to be true about this person, who's actually an awesome business person, but what I know, I don't love the marketing tactic though, because what it doesn't say is she has built a reputation over years and years and years of doing things consistently, of building relationships, of building connections, and simply all she did was she started a new mastermind and sent it out to her email database, and they said yes, which got her 10 people at 20K each, 200K in a day. Now, I do that also with my masterminds, but me saying I'm going to teach you how to do 200K in a day is not accurate, because really it's building a long-term business. It is not making 200K in a day. One, it's a mastermind you've got to deliver over a whole year, but also it's the reputation that you've built for years and years. It's having your database there that is primed and is hot and is ready and is engaged. And other ones that I see are things like, I did this $100,000 launch, and it's like, if you want to say that, I think you need to say all the other things. I think you need to say, I did this because, one, I have built my reputation. Two, I came from this and I've got this many people on my database. Three, I spent this much money on Facebook ads, which left me with this much profit at the end. Like, I think if you're going to do the top line, be fully transparent with it. If you don't want to talk about the bottom line money, then don't share the top line. And this is where I think, you can be quiet about it. You don't have to tell people, oh my gosh, I'm so good, I just made all this money, because that is not the focus. The focus is client results. It doesn't matter what you do, it matters what clients achieve. And so I think that is a much classier way to do it. And also it brings you more success. Like it truly does. You will get better results if you stay focused on what you can help your clients achieve all the time, because loud isn't the same as effective. And I would rather make the impact in the lives of my clients than, say things that are going to rack up a whole lot of likes from strangers, because the strangers on the internet don't matter. All I care about is being relevant to the people that are right for my audience. Okay, so to wrap it up, to be able to tell you how you can make all of those quiet power moves today, block off some white space in your calendar, like every single week. Friday is the easiest one. It's always the quietest, just probably because a lot of people are doing white space on Fridays. But block off some time so that you have some time to catch up, or you have some white space in there so that you have time to do the things you want to do, not just all the time to do the things you have to do. Audit your customer journey, audit all of your offers, improve all of your back end, build your evergreen funnel, and tighten up all of the little conversions all across the way. So remember to have an easy way to sell it. Always have that engine running to that evergreen that you've got, and tighten up that funnel at every point. Simplify all your offers, really refine your brand messaging, and prioritize the habits that you know are going to play in the long run, that you know are going to create stability in your business, but not necessarily get the loud applause. Because at the end of the day, the loud applause doesn't matter. All that matters is that you are creating a really great impact for your clients and they're getting results, and also that you're running a beautiful, sustainable business that is aligned with your values and that is serving your life and giving you that freedom, flexibility, and revenue and profit that you deserve. Have fun.